Should. No, it's not. It's just showing the aspects. Okay, so that's a weak spot in this. We use, in the States, they use mostly the houses. So it tells you the house that everybody's moving in, but it doesn't tell you when it changes. Signed. We have it here. In the 2018 should be there. Not showing it. So we're not seeing the sun progression into the sign. So that's another one of the factors that aren't showing in this transit to natal. The planet's moving into changing signs. That changes rulerships. It's important. It's not there. One day we'll get our program going and we'll have all of this. But this is still useful, but you might have to write a few things in. So, okay. Yeah, so that's that. Now, there's another thing that happens. Where are we? Okay, 1 second. So I always, when I'm doing someone's chart, a lot of times I don't use these two graphs, okay? I can use it if I'm gonna see someone regularly, have it in a file, I can go back and do this. But usually, here's what I use. I do a printout of 5 years. I go back 2 years and go forward 3 for everything with the progressions. Okay, this is progressed to the natal chart. And here, there's two things happening in this progressed chart that are really relevant. I'm sorry, you have to see it from here. Okay, I got 2 screens. But here, you're coming along, you see November 2019, Uranus opposes the moon. The progressed Uranus opposes the moon. It means it's been within a degree probably for most half the lifetime. It's just come up to be the most exact aspect. It's come back to exactly the exact opposition to the moon. After this point, it will start to diminish the intensity, but it's like slowly over years. This is the Uranus opposed to the moon. This is a disruption to home and family, an inner shaking up. And it's not showing because they do the Mercury, the progressed Sun, progressed Mercury. They don't put it in, they don't consider it in the progressions in the computer programs. A mistake in my opinion. So I always do a 5-year, I do the 8-year printout, I make my graph, or I use just the 8-year printout, mark it up. I use the 2-year printout of transits. Those are 8-year transits for the outer planets, 2-year transits for Mars and Mars, Jupiter, and the outer planets. And then I do this 5 years from the progressed chart to natal. You can do them when they mix them all together, but I separate it. I do one 5-year printout of the progressions to the natal chart. And this is what this came up. The Uranus came up to the exact point opposing the moon. And it's coming up just in another couple of months. This is really valid right now. It's a huge nerve that's coming up within. And it's breaking ties with that. I think it's the nerve that the kids are growing up and going to leave home or want to be in university, and they're going to have to look at each other. We've done everything for the kids for years. Now what are we going to do? It's changed. It's a big change, especially for his motivation, his Cancer Sun in the 10th. And also in 2020, September 19th, the progressed Sun, the progressed ascendant goes into Scorpio. And they don't put the angles into the changing signs on here. I don't think they even put so like these reports are useful because they organize them nicely and you can present them. But really, I may print those out to talk to someone, but I'm really working with a 5-year progressed to natal, and I mark out, I highlight, I take the time to highlight the main aspects so I'm not missing anything. So they're there. Okay, so these two factors, Uranus opposed the moon, changing his moon in Aries. But it's progressed ascendant still going through Virgo, is going through Libra, but that progressed moon, Uranus opposed the moon, a year later, it's still within a minute of a degree or two of opposing that. It's still going to be close. And the ascendant goes into Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars. The identity is going to be much more active as that progressed ascendant goes into Scorpio. The Mars rulership of the Aries is going to act too. It's going to be much more assertive and aggressive. The Mars issues are going to come up stronger. So this Uranus opposed to the moon, it's 1 degree is going to be 20, 30 years each side, 30, 40 years each side of this. So it's there almost all his life. It's its most critical time right now. And this next year, the whole year is going to be tied with this criticalness of the Uranus opposed to the moon, the changes to the past, the family, to the home. and to his identity. His identity's been going along with the marriage identity. We're sharing, we're doing this, we're doing. Now it's going into Scorpio. What are we doing? Just at the time when the family's changing up, we can't do it for that reason anymore. Well, it may not seem like a big thing, but that's a big thing for if your partner's going through it and you want to talk about it. This is a big deal. Okay, so this is the progressed to progressed. And the other one that I do, progressed to natal, I also do a 5-year for the 1.5 year before chart of the progressed to the progressed chart. So this really is the one, this 5 years it'll give me, there's the full moon, so I can see the phases of the moon. But it throws in the odd thing. Here, it shows the moon, when the moon hits the angles, progressed to progressed angles. And that can be anywhere. Those are kind of mystical points, but this is 2020. It won't be on any of the other computers that don't calculate this. So it shows the moon opposing the progressed moon opposing the progressed midheaven, conjuncting the I see really deep motivation meditation on 2020 next June. So these little things are special moments. So we have some special moments that are going on inside the confusing world that he has of his Neptune and the depressing world of the Saturn. There are moments of deep insight that can come, that even though things are chaos, he needs to take these moments to catch the spiritual moment, to catch his certain visions, to let go of certain things. He's seeing these phases are the new things and progressions that are changing within him that give him hope to get out of the past. So when the progressive ascendant goes into Scorpio, don't tell me what to do. There's going to be a strong inner attitude. And I got to do this. He's going to find his own obsession of something he wants to get into. And his Mars in the 3rd house. It's going to be, I got to do my astrology. I'm going to do some stuff with this. It's going to be tied into this. If it gets pulled out to the family, and he's concerned about his son doing everything with his son, he's watching everything his son does, it's going to tie into the Neptune and cause a lot of confusion. And with Uranus opposing his moon for progressions, he has some shocks. He's had some letting go. So he's having to let go. He might feel guilty about trying to let go and do his own thing and not just do everything for his kids. He might feel guilty about that. And so you get these pieces of things going on in the progressions and you tie them together. And but the 5-year graphs progress to progress, it gives you, you watch through the aspects, you see the main things. This moon hitting an angle, that's a useful thing. Like with progressions, with transits, we're seeing Mars and out, we're seeing the challenges happen. With progressions, the progressed Sun, progressed Mercury, progressed Venus, they're a change of our inner attitudes, our personal styles, what we like, how we think, what we're doing, what's important. They're inner changes, but they really affect our confidence just as much as outer achievements can. These two things play in each other, and our Sun is sort of sitting in the middle of this, growing, living, beating, amazingly. But when we get all these events, we start seeing 3 or 4 different things, and then as you're working with a person, you'll know, you may not know where it ties in right away, but you're talking to someone, and then something comes up and says, oh, well, then you should work to have a special meditation, do something special at this date to get something for yourself, or to get a moment for yourself, or you start getting, so you don't miss your sensitive moments. Okay, so this is, it's just, I'm taking the chart and coming at it, and we're going to be doing this on the chart. We'll be looking through this, and we'll be working with these printouts, the 5-year printouts for the progressions, and the 8-year. We're going to do those. We'll be comparing them. Well, the 8-year graph came from the 8-year printout, so we don't have to worry about that. But on these reports, I may or may not even use them, but they're so nicely organized. It's just, I would write in things on top of it for what I would mark in a line for the Saturn coming back to oppose the Sun, because that's really crucial right now. How did it back up? How is it still feeling like this? It didn't resolve. What am I doing? Like, there's waves going on of this. Now, let's see. Oh yeah, and in the progressed to natal chart, as you go forward, it'll be on our progressed graph. If we go forward a year or two, we have the